I never believed one evening could unravel everything I thought I understood about my husband and the people closest to him. That night began like any other, ordinary, quiet, familiar, but it ended with a truth that left me trembling, questioning the very foundation of my marriage. My name is Mira, and this is what happened. For 5 years, my husband Nalin and I had built a calm, peaceful life in a small town. He was kind, patient, and reserved, the sort of man who preferred quiet moments to noise, solitude to crowds. So when he told me he wanted to invite 3 of his old university friends for dinner, I was genuinely surprised. Yet there was a spark in his eyes I couldn't ignore, so I agreed. Their names were Aloha, Quain, and Dumi, friends he hadn't seen in years. That morning, I threw myself into preparing everything. Fragrant biryani, sizzling kebabs, and the creamy dessert Nalin loved most. I wanted the evening to feel special, comforting. I even lit candles around the dining room. To me, it was just going to be a cheerful reunion. Laughter, old memories, and shared stories. I had no idea that the night would open a door to secrets I was never meant to know. At exactly 7, the doorbell rang. When I opened the door, the 3 men stood there, tall, confident, and full of energy. They greeted Nalin like long-lost brothers. For a moment, I just watched them, sensing a bond that felt almost sacred, something deeper than friendship. Dinner began with jokes and stories. They praised the food, admired the house, and everything seemed perfect. But as time passed, something began to feel slightly off. I noticed the subtle glances they exchanged when they thought I wasn't looking, and how they sometimes spoke in a language I couldn't understand. It wasn't openly secretive, but it was enough to make me feel like an outsider in my own home. After dinner, they moved into the living room with their drinks, laughter echoing off the walls. I joined them for a while, then slipped into the kitchen to clean up. That's when I heard it, a voice low and serious. "She doesn't know, does she?" I froze. The sound of running water faded, my heart beat loud in my ears. Another voice answered quietly, "Not yet." Then came laughter. Forced, uneasy, the kind used to cover a mistake. My palms turned cold as I tried to steady myself. Maybe it was nothing, I told myself. Maybe they were teasing, but deep down, I knew they weren't. When I returned to the living room, the air had shifted. Nalin's smile looked strained, his voice stiff. Then Aloha turned to me and said softly, "Mira, can we talk?" The room went still. Nalin's expression tensed. He already knew what was coming. The other 2 men stayed silent, their eyes heavy with something unspoken. Aloha's voice was calm, but carried a weight that made my stomach twist. Years ago, when Nalin was at university, the 4 of us made a promise to protect one another, no matter what, even if it meant keeping certain truths hidden. I looked at my husband. He couldn't meet my eyes. "What truth?" I whispered. Quain leaned forward, his tone gentle. "Your husband was in danger once. He saw something he shouldn't have. It involved people who wouldn't have let him walk away. We helped him disappear for 2 years. You were told he was studying abroad, but that was only part of the truth." My chest tightened. "Disappear? Why?" Dumi spoke then, his voice steady but cold. "Because if the wrong people had found him, he wouldn't be alive today." I turned to Nalin, my body trembling. "Why didn't you ever tell me?" He looked broken. "Because I didn't know how. I wanted to protect you, to leave it all behind." Then Aloha said something that made my heart stop. "The men who were after him, they're back. We've seen signs. That's why we came tonight, to warn you. You deserve to know what you're walking into." The room spun. For years, I'd lived beside a man I believed I knew completely, only to realize he'd been carrying a past filled with danger that had quietly followed us home. We stayed up all night as they told me everything. The betrayal, the fear, the years of hiding. By the time they finished, I didn't know what to feel. There was anger, yes, but also a strange sense of understanding. These men had risked everything for one another. And Nalin, for all his silence, had only ever wanted to keep me safe. But trust, once cracked, doesn't heal easily. Now, every sound outside makes me flinch. Every shadow feels heavier. Still, I told Nalin one thing: no more secrets. Because love built on silence is only half alive. So now we wait. For answers, for peace, for the past to finally release us. Some truths shake your world, but they also reveal who truly stands by your side.